All right, we are live here with the former IBF lightweight champion of the world, Paul Spadafora. Paul, it seems like you've been out of the limelight for a long time now since you retired, and a lot of people want to know what you've been doing. So, kind of keep us up to speed. What's been going on since you retired from boxing?
Ain't nothing. Just been. I moved out to Vegas and just got married. Opened a little gym up in my garage. And just working with people in the garage and stuff.
Gotcha. Now, everyone reacts to their first loss differently, and you know how boxing is today. It's like such a big thing to protect that O and hold on to that O, and it's not like that, and it wasn't like that back in the day. Now it took you 18 years to suffer your first loss. How did you deal with that? Because you were undefeated for so long, and it was something that happened so late in your career. You must have felt like you were invincible at that point because you were undefeated so long. How did that affect you moving forward in your career? How did that affect you mentally?
Well, I was put on a shelf for a long time. From like 2006. I kept going back. I like to tell, but like I told my trainer, like I quit being a fighter when I got home from prison. Like when I was like around, I'll tell you probably like 2008, 2009, I was over with. I was done, like for real, because I was doing everything underneath the sun. I wasn't living right. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sleeping right. I wasn't putting things in my body that has anything to do with being a fighter, and I wasn't the same person that I was before I went to jail.
Yeah. And when you did suffer that first loss, it was a kind of a disputed, controversial decision. It was really a close fight. It was for the interim junior welterweight title, WBA junior welterweight title. You came back one more time, and then you just packed it in.
Yeah, I went out to Las Vegas, and I was training with Sean Porter and Kenny Porter, and it was over. It was over. I wasn't the same.
So you just
I went out to Las Vegas from 2014. I was out there. I went back. I went out there 2015 and 2016. I was out there for like 6 months, 7 months, and it just wasn't the same anymore for me. So I just was like done with it.
so you knew right then and there that I'm supposed to beat a guy like Perez. It's not supposed to be close, and if I can't take care of a guy like this, then there's something wrong here.
Well, it wasn't even that. Stop. It wasn't even that. It was just I was getting hit with shots in the sparring sessions and stuff, and was getting hurt with shots
Yeah.
getting on my head, and I wasn't the same fighter.
So you
And
had the
I always talked to PK, and PK was my old trainer when I was younger. I said because I love boxing. I never thought I would ever retire type shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But he told me, he was like, when you can't take it no more, it's over. So
yeah.
there ain't no reason chasing something that ain't really gonna it ain't you ain't gonna do nothing with it.
So you had no desire to get rematch with Velasquez because the fight was so close. You just knew right then and there from the gym sessions
Yeah,
that this
yeah,
was it.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you look back at those days in boxing and you compare them to today, um, how do you make that comparison? Because you see boxing now is on so many different platforms now. Talk about if you were fighting today, do you think it would be a lot better for you? Do you think you'd get that much more exposure? Because you could watch fights any time of the day. There's so many different platforms they boxing's being shown on today. And plus, it seems like the money is a lot better now. I mean, obviously you had your Floyd Mayweather's, your Manny Pacquiao's back then, but now it seems like everyone's getting paid because of these broadcast deals. Talk about what you think of today's boxing and compare it to when you were fighting. And do
I
you
mean,
think you would have had more success fighting in this era than you did back then?
I really don't know, but I believe that today's fighters, like at least they're getting chances to be they're getting chances to fight the best of the best. You know what I mean? Like it seems like these guys are getting chances. Other champions are getting fighting other champions. Other names in the sport are fighting good guys, and you know what I mean. It
Yeah.
it it don't seem like it seems like that this with this Turkey guy and everybody. It just seems like they're getting chances to get put on. So I think I would have did better. I would have liked it. Put it like this, I would have liked it more fighting in this era. The more money, obviously, you want the more money, but just the fact that you can't be like put it like this. When I was coming up, I didn't have a big promoter. I had a small promoter. I sold out the arena. He was always trying to protect me. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't me. That was my promoter. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like the fighters have more. They have more say today than they did back in the day. And I think fighters are fighters. They want to fight the best. Of course, they want to fight the best. I don't think no one's ducking anybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's my opinion.
So you feel like today fighters have more control over their career. They're more
For
involved
sure.
in promoting
Yeah.
themselves because
For
of
the
social
social media,
media.
yeah,
Yeah.
social media, the big platforms. I mean, these guys are making money. These guys making unbelievable money.
Yeah.
For even like the guys that I don't have no 10 round fighters right now, but I got like 4 to 6 round fighters, and they're making money. I was making $50 a round when I was fighting 4 rounds. You know what I mean? I fought 12 rounds a couple times for $50 a round. The small IBC titles and stuff like that to
Yeah.
try to get you ranked and all that other bullshit. But yeah, I think that it would have been of course I would have liked it more fighting these days when you're making money like that. You know,
Yeah.
and you get a chance. I think that the fighter nowadays got more. Like I said, I think the fighter has more control than we did. You know what I'm saying? I was an old school guy, man. I came up back in the day, like in the '90s and the early 2000s. You know, and I was with a guy who taught me how to just. I wasn't ever supposed to talk to the promoter, talk to the man. I just do what I do. They tell me what to do, and I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't wasn't like disrespectful coming at people. But it comes to a time like in 2014. My trainer told me I was going to fight Floyd my promoter told me I was fighting Floyd in 2012 all the way. And I believed that dumb shit. Like I really believed it. Meanwhile, I'm fighting in club shows. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
and I just feel like you know that that turned me off big time from boxing.
Yeah.
You know,
So you
I had to leave Mike. I had no choice but to leave. I told my managers, I said, Mike, I said, I was on the shelf for a whole year. Didn't fight not one person. You had me talking on the phone with Mr. Mayweather, and none of it was even remotely true. You know what I'm saying? It's
sure. Yeah.
lies and stuff like that. And it just like turned me off from everything. Like, and then I had my problems with drugs and alcohol. I went to a rehab, and I told him, and the counselor told me, he's like, listen, Paul, because I love boxing. I always love boxing. You're waiting, and then it's not only Floyd, but like all types of guys. They're telling you're supposed to fight these guys and they fall through. You're telling me one thing. I'm really believing that I'm going to fight these guys, and that never happens. But I could tell you one thing. When I went down to this rehab, I signed with Roy Jones. Everything he told me that was going to happen happened.
Yeah.
Everything he told me that he said you get 2 or 3 fights, you're going to fight for the title. You beat this guy, you're going to move on. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Everything he ever said to me told me the truth, and he never lied to me, or not one time. You know what I mean? But I think that has to do with him being a fighter and
Yeah.
him actually caring about the fighter, because I think a lot of these guys, they don't give a fuck about the guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just my opinion.
So when you look at how your career played out, and obviously fighters have to go through trials and tribulations. It's not easy. And some guys get lucky right out the gate. They get signed with a big promoter. They get put on television. They get the exposure they need. What do you tell your young kids now? Like how do you guide them? Because you have pros and amateurs, or is it
Yeah,
mostly, yeah,
yeah.
you have both, right?
I have,
So
I
how,
have
how do you
mostly,
guide them?
but I'm old. I believe it. Listen, you can't put nothing bad in your body. That's number one. You can't hang.
Sure.
You can't hang around people that are doing the wrong thing. You can't
Yeah.
be. Listen to this. I was telling my fighter this way. That's what I told him the other day. Listen, you can't have one foot in the street and one foot in a boxing gym. It just ain't gonna work. There's no way it's gonna work. You tell me one time that ever works. I mean, it just don't work. That was my situation. I had one foot in the. Oh, man, what the fuck? What's I doing walking around with guns, holding guns and stuff? Come on, man. Money goes to your head. You start thinking you're somebody that you're not. I'm not no gangster. I'm a boxer. I've been boxing my whole life. That's all I know how to do is box. I can't. I know how to box, babysit, and clean. I don't know how to fix no tires or fix doors and stuff like that. No, all I know how to do is box. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to when you're a fighter, you have to be live the right way. You have to live the right way. You have to live like a fighter.
Yeah,
And another thing is like fighters fight. I was from back in the day, or back in the day, we sparred every day. Now you mentioned sparring, right? It's like where you at? Not where you at? Hey, where you at? You know what I'm trying to say?
sure.
So it's just a different. It's definitely a different era in boxing. I think the boxers are different too nowadays. I mean, you know, well, I'm from a place where you have to, where you want to work hard. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing you want to do. You want to rest good. You want to do the right thing, run and do your road work. You know, some guys, I know guys, I'm not mentioning no names. Some guys don't even believe in doing road work,
Yeah,
and you're
heard that
fighting.
too.
I mean,
Yeah,
like to me, that's like, wow. What do you mean? A week, 2 weeks before the fight, you don't do no road work. Like what? I mean, I don't know though. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I've been boxing my whole life. I mean, I studied the Willie Peps, Carmen Basilios, you know what I mean? Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Salvador Sanchez. These guys that from the old school, they probably sparred every day. Most likely, they sport 4 or 5 times a week. You know, I tell you what, I mean, even the sparring and stuff like, it's just different. It's a different era.
so since you mentioned the road work and the old school training and the conditioning, what are your thoughts about all these people that are in the camp now? These nutritionists, these strength and conditioning coaches.
I mean,
I'm,
it's a
I,
different. It's like I can't. I'm not gonna say that like I don't believe like. I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing to downplay someone's job. You know what I mean? But obviously, they do hire people that will improve the fighter. But I really, I mean, my fighters, we're gonna spar, or then we can't. We're not
that's
gonna be
probably
able
the
to.
most important thing, wouldn't you say,
Yeah,
Paul? Is the
yeah,
sparring, right? Because
yeah.
that's how you simulate. That's how you simulate the fight. You can't. Nothing else can replicate a fight like
There's
the
no
sparring.
there's no doubt about it.
100%.
Everybody wants to hit the hand
Yeah,
pad.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's sparring, it's hitting that heavy bag, it's getting up in the morning, doing your road work. You can't overdo it. I'm not saying overdo it, but you run a hard run like the police are chasing you. That's how
Yeah,
you're gonna be fighting. You know what I
sure,
mean? You're running like this. Nah, you gotta do your road work. Do it the right way. Do it like you're fighting. You're not gonna be fighting like this. Hopefully, you might have to go like this. You know what I mean? You might have to go hard. So there's different type of runs for different type of things. You know what I'm saying?
sure. Another thing that's changed significantly too is the drug testing. Now, what are your thoughts on the drug
Man,
testing? Are you?
it's so ridiculous, man. Like,
Yeah,
if you, I just want to say this.
go
So
ahead.
I'm glad you said this. If you come into the wake, if you had no plans, I'm not saying no names. You have no plans on making weight. Now listen, like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, he didn't really know. He knew he wasn't going to come down to
Hey,
140.
I don't think he even attempted to make weight. I
Didn't
don't
even
believe it.
care. And
I
it
don't know.
comes in at 143 pounds, right? 143 and a half pounds. And then you
Sure.
got Devin is shrink. Devin's just as big as you. He shrinks down to, now I'm going to tell you something. He shrinks down to 140. And now you tested positive for steroids. This ain't baseball. This ain't baseball. This ain't basketball. You're getting hit with punches. You're cheating. You could hurt somebody like that. You know what I mean? Some people say, "Well, bro, you get banned." If it was my opinion, if you're going to cheat like that, then you got to get banned. That's the way. That's what I'm going to do. If I had
Yeah,
anything to do with it, I don't believe in cheating when it comes to fighting because you people die in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
People die in the ring. Let me tell you something. Just a real quick example. I'm not saying Chavez took anything, but listen to this. So Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor, number one. Everybody's watching the fight this time. Damn, Meldrick's killing him. I'm looking at him. I'm just like, to my brothers and stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? Chavez is taking his life away this fight. Never was the same after that. Never was the same. I'm not saying that Devin and Ryan, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying things that when you're cheating like that, people you're putting a beating on somebody, it can change your life from that one night can change your whole life.
Yeah, and I remember back in the day, a lot of it was like stimulants. A lot of the baseball players from the old days, they did a lot of stimulants. They did all types of uppers and stuff because these guys used to go out and party all the time, and in order to keep themselves awake and ready to play, they would jack themselves up with stimulants. So, like back in your day when the testing wasn't as strict, do you suspect that you did fight guys that were on stuff? Or did you ever have that
I mean,
feeling when you were in the ring? Or I don't want you to have to accuse anybody, but did you ever, you know, just
I
feel
never,
that?
I never, I never, I never, I never even thought of that. You know what I mean? I never really
Okay,
thought of that, but I'm sure that there was people that did that. I'm sure of that, you
yeah,
know, put her
gotcha.
up, lady.
So, speaking of the sparring, because that's another thing that we hear a lot about today. Everyone's like, oh, this guy did this to this guy in sparring, this guy did that to that guy in sparring. And I've been around gyms, a good part of my life. And to me, sparring was always practice. I mean, you don't put so much stock in the sparring. Obviously, when you're in there, you want to be sharp, you want to get the cobwebs off and this and that. But when you're in sparring, it depends. Like a guy could have sparred three guys before you, and then you're the fourth guy. He could have just been starting his camp. He's trying to get the rust off. It could be close to the fight, and he's already cutting weight and depleted. So I never put
Sure.
so much stock in the sparring. I had conversations with John Scully about this. He agrees with me, but so much has been made about your sparring session with Floyd
So
Mayweather. To
dude,
this
it's so
day,
ridiculous.
and
I was
you always downplayed it, Paul. You said, you know what? I came in there. He wasn't like this. Wasn't the best Floyd Mayweather. He was just trying to get in shape in the beginning of the camp or whatever the time of the camp it was. But everyone's like, oh, Paul Spadafora,
yeah,
he beat the shit out of Mayweather and sparring. And you
ridiculous.
always downplayed it.
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like sparring is sparring. You know how many times I come in the gym and got my brains handed to me. There's many times that I come to the gym sparring guys. Let me tell you something. I had this one guy was in my nightmare. We just sparred Lamar Murphy, right? I
I
didn't
remember
win
him.
one round of one session. We probably sparred 600 rounds. I'm just telling you. He fought
Yeah,
Angel Manfredi before I fought him. He beat it. Angel Manfredi beat him. It was a whole like that sparring is sparring. The night of the fight when the lights come on, that's when it means everything.
that's what it's all about.
And look,
Because again,
again, like I don't even like when people talk about that Floyd stuff. It's kind of embarrassing to me. You know what I mean? It really is. And plus, you don't talk about legends like that and put people in sentences the same sentences as them.
yeah.
You know,
And
there's
it
different.
was never you. It was never you hyping it up. It was
It ain't
always
ever gonna be
someone.
me.
Someone must have been in there. They recorded it. They put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
And I'm sure when you went there, your intention was, I'm here to work with him. I'm not here
yeah,
to try to show him up. I'm not here to try to
exactly.
win anything. I'm here to get myself in shape and be sharp, and get him, in shape and be sharp.
Right,
Because we just hear these stories. There's fighters. There's fighters that, oh, they beat this guy, that guy, oh, knocked this guy down, blah blah. And then when you see them in the ring under the lights, like as you said, it's a totally different story. So I'm glad that you just brought that up, and then you were able to clear that up, because you're the one that everyone's hyping up, but you're the one that's like, no, that's not what this was.
yeah,
This wasn't like I just won a gold medal or a world title.
yeah,
This was practice, and I
yeah.
think that people
Hey, you
really
ever hear
need.
that? Did you ever hear that interview? Whatever. That's funny you said it like that because you ever Allen Iverson when he's
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's
Yeah, it's
like,
practice,
this is
and that's what I say. I say that to everybody, because people always like. I get text messages all the time. Oh, this guy's fighting that guy. I heard he did this to him in sparring when he sparred him five. Who gives a fuck? This 5 years ago. It's a snapshot in time. Damn, I
right.
put on the playground when I was five, and girls beat me up.
Yeah,
That don't mean anything now. It's crazy,
for sure.
So that's kind of weird
Let me
when.
ask you a question. What do you think about the boxing nowadays with the turkey guy and all that?
Oh,
Like,
I
I'm
love it. I love
okay.
it. And here's the thing too. People were talking about
What do you
Turkey.
got? Who you got winning Crawford and Canelo?
Oh, I like Crawford. I
Me
like
too.
Crawford. I was leaning Canelo, but then I started. I'm like I got Crawford. I'm riding with Crawford. I think the
He's
skills
real.
will pay the bills. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're pretty still up on boxing because a lot of guys once they walk away they kind of do their own thing, but they don't really keep up with the sport. So you keep up with the sport. You've been
I
following
tried
it.
to, yeah, I tried to, yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still like that's all I do is watch boxing, you know. So
Oh, okay.
like right now, I'm watching some boxing, but you know, I like watching Salvador. I like watching the older
The
guys.
old fights too. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah,
have to try to keep up on the boxing just to be that what's going on and stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Do the right thing.
And then like the other thing, like everyone, this past weekend they're saying Daniel Dubois quit, and they're focusing so much on that,
What
and
about
and
how good Usyk looked?
instead of how good Usyk was. Like, here's the thing: Daniel Dubois was
He might
losing
be
that.
pound for pound. He
Yeah,
might
definitely.
actually be
Yeah,
pound
he's
for pound.
definitely, arguably the best fighter in the world right now.
Go ahead. What was you saying?
So everyone's focusing on that, but again, Daniel Dubois was just in there with a better guy. Like, uh, what are your thoughts now? Because that's the new thing too. Is everyone's a quitter. Every time someone gets knocked out, people want these guys to die in there. Like Daniel Dubois got hit with a monster shot
What
on
did he say? He
Saturday.
got hit with that. What did he call it?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. He had a name for it. I forget what he called it, but yeah, he's crazy. He's sick. That guy, man.
Yeah, he
He's
can box. He can
he
do it
can box
all.
his ass off.
He can
He
do
can
it
box
all.
his ass off. So,
Yeah,
so in your opinion, you would say
I,
he's number one in the world right now?
yeah, I would say. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard not to go. It's hard not to lean towards Crawford because Crawford is, you know, Crawford just he's making dude. He's jumping all the way up two weight classes to fight
Yeah. Yeah.
168, and
Yeah.
man, I mean, obviously he's gonna have to win to be. I mean, you know, it's to me it can go either way. Crawford or Usyk. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Does Crawford become an all time great if he's to beat
I
Canelo?
mean, I really think that they don't even really matter. Like I'm gonna keep it real with you. I
Yeah.
was talking to my brother, and I was like, Harry Crawford can fight in any era. Any area
Yes.
that you talk about. I'm talking about Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm to
Yeah.
Tommy Hearns, Hagler. You know this era back in the day with the Carmen Basilios, Sugar Ray Robinson. I would put him in any era and he would do well. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. That's my
Sure. So
like like
Mayweather hypothetical matchup. Who would you pick?
that'd be a great fight. He would. I mean, I don't know who wins that fight.
That's
That'd be
that's that's that's
it'd be
something you'd have to really scratch your head about, right?
yeah, for real. Because
Yeah.
listen, Mayweather got crazy IQ. His IQ is unbelievable with his defense when he was a pretty boy. When he was pretty boy, he was hard to deal with. You know what I'm saying? You remember how serious he was?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
And but
Sure.
Crawford's the same way. So it's like to me, that's still it's probably like 60-40, probably leaning towards Floyd, but it's definitely gonna be a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a
Yeah.
great fight.
Yeah. My favorite fighter of all
How
time
about
is.
Roy and Floyd?
Oh, what do you think of that? Them going back and forth like that? That's crazy, huh?
I think that everybody's entitled to an opinion.
Sure.
And that's
Sure.
all Roy's just a good guy. Roy's a good dude. But one thing about Roy is he's a real fighter. He's a legend. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't I can't you it's hard to actually compare anybody to Roy Jones when he was in his prime. He
Yeah.
dominated that play. He went from middleweight all the way up to heavyweight. When
Sure.
and you don't think that caused a problem coming down back down to light
Yeah.
heavyweight? Definitely
Yeah.
did. You're on all that weight now. You're losing it to make the weight, but not taking anything away from Antonio Tarver because he's a beast too.
Yeah.
Great counterpuncher, and he fought the perfect fight. You know what I mean? But it's hard for me to take to put anybody in front of Roy Jones.
But here's the problem because like Floyd is definitely he's a legend. He's an
Fact.
all time great in my opinion. He's the best of his
He
era.
all them,
That's
he beat all them champions.
no question about it.
Can't
But
make it up.
the thing is this: he gets mad when people ask this question because a lot of people, the one guy he gets compared to a lot is Sugar Ray Leonard. If you ask 100 people who would win that fight, I'm
Right,
sorry,
99.
99 they're gonna say Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm biased. He's my favorite fighter of all time. I actually got a chance to talk to Sugar Ray Leonard, interview him on the phone. It's probably one of the highlights of my life. The guy to me had everything. Had everything. Now, that doesn't mean Floyd wasn't great, but
Right.
you can't get mad if somebody says Sugar Ray Leonard would beat you. That's a compliment. I
Yeah.
mean, I get it. You want to be the best. Everyone's got their egos. It's so tough when you compare eras. I think it's good enough just to be the best in your era because all the other
Yeah.
stuff is just all hypothetical. There's no way you're gonna ever know. You
For sure.
know.
Yep.
So that's the thing. Like Floyd, he gets really upset if someone says he's not the best of all time. Like it's not he. Most guys would be happy like being in the top 5, top 10, even top 20 of all time. If he's not, if you don't say to him he's number one, this guy he flips out, man.
That's
And
because
that
he's the best. He's a
and
legend.
maybe you have to have that
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
That's just how people are built, man.
Yeah. For sure.
So so So, Paul, I'm going to ask you one last question, and this is I asked Mickey Ward the same question. I usually ask guys who've been retired for a while, and it's a tough question. Um, Obviously, everybody has things they look back on which they did differently, but if you could just pick one thing, right, one thing that you could change, just one thing, what would it be?
Man, rest in peace, my promoter, Mike Acree. I had to, when I fought for the title, right that then and there, like when I fought that night for the title, my trainer, Jesse Reed,
He was a
he was,
great trainer, wasn't he, Jesse
yeah,
Reed?
definitely
Wow,
was.
great trainer. We were
He was
lucky to have him, man.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Great motivator. I mean, he was great, man. He was in the great corner, man. Probably the best ever in the corner. You know
One
what
of
I mean?
them, yeah, he
He,
definitely, yeah,
he make you think that you could run through a wall.
yeah.
I'm being honest with
And
you.
he
Like,
didn't sugarcoat it in that corner either. He would get in your ass if you weren't doing what he thought you should be doing. I used to
yep.
see him. Yeah.
But I would have to say, I mean, I don't know. He's Mike's dead. I love my managers did a great job with me, and Mike did a great job with me. But
Yeah.
right when I fought Cardona, Max Kellerman, in his own breath, is saying Manfredi, Gotti, Stevie Johnson. I put him in there with anybody. Why in the fuck am I fighting Bernardo Cornet?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but now he never one time, never one time. I love Mike, and Mike's a great person. He did a lot of great things for me. So not for one time did he ever say, Paul, listen what we're gonna do. We're gonna build you up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get you this following. You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna, you know what I mean? He never did that. It was always a lie. It was always you're fighting this guy, and then I'm go to camp. I go to camp for. I mean, I had issues in my own. You know what I'm saying? But it took a lot away from me going to camp for long like that, and then post to fighting guys that. Forget about Mayweather. We have Stevie Johnson, Cesar Brazon, Arturo Gotti, lots of guys that can fight in that weight class. You don't got to fight Mayweather. Look, all these fighters
So
back in
for them, it was Mayweather or bust for them. They didn't want you to fight.
it's
They put
ridiculous.
you in the Mayweather sweepstakes, and they
It's
didn't want to
so
take any risk.
ridiculous. It's so
Yeah.
ridiculous. That's just don't make no sense at all. It just doesn't. And I'm going to tell you something. If I could have, I really thought in my heart I won the Leonard Dorn fight. I would have been the WBA IBF lightweight champion, and I know for a fact Floyd would have unified it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I didn't win. And then when they gave me the draw, I
Yeah. That
went.
was tough.
People don't
That was
understand
fucking.
that.
That was worse than the loss, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Probably.
check this out. People don't understand this. So they gave me the draw, then they gave me the rematch for 750,000. I told my brother, listen to this. I said, Harry, dude, I'm leaving. I'm leaving right now. I'm going to camp. I promise you, I'm stopping him. He can't take it to the body. He couldn't take it to the body. I know for a fact he can't take it to the body. I was hitting him with body shots. That's what made me sit there like that. And I felt like I was taking the life away from him. What happens? I go to camp. He retires.
Oh fuck.
Did you
That's
know he
oh my
retired?
god. No,
Did
I
you
didn't.
know he?
See,
They
I
called
didn't
me.
remember it. I didn't remember.
Swear to
I
God,
did
look,
not know. I'm
I'm
not gonna lie to you. I didn't know.
wait till
No,
you
did
hear
not
this.
know.
He retires while I'm at boxing camp. My
Oh
promoter,
God.
my promoter wants me to stay up at the camp. I owned my own house back in the day. I'm like 2 hours away from Pittsburgh. He's like, stay up. You're gonna stay up there for a couple of months, and we're gonna fight a non-title fight for $50,000. Wait till you hear this. I said, I'm not staying here. I go out. What do? I get drunk. And end up catching the case. Now, what does he do? He comes out of retirement, fights Arturo Gatti. What happens? He gets knocked out with a body shot. You
Oh my
can't make
God.
it up.
Oh my God.
You can't make that up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
I mean, I'm gonna you my if I could take anything back in my life, I would have to say, I'd have to talk to my managers about getting me a promoter and put me in these places. I need to. You can't string along a guy that wants to fight and tell him lies and not put him in there. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It sucks your life away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what it seems to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because this is just my assessment of what you've been telling me. It seems like they were just waiting and waiting and waiting for that one big one
Yeah.
instead of taking the little ones along the way. Like
Right.
you said, the Arturo Gatti, those you would get the $750,000. They,
Yeah.
you know what they were looking for? They were looking for the threes, the 5 millions and stuff.
Yeah.
They were looking for the 3 to 5 million payday. When you were happy at that time with even the 500,000s,
Yeah.
probably you would have been you
I'm
would have
from
been
nothing. I'm
you
from
would have been
nothing.
straight. You would have been straight
Yeah.
with that.
Yes.
So they I believe, just from the outside looking in, and again, this is just a layman looking at it.
Well,
They were looking.
my trainer
Yeah,
Tommy Ankello knew me my whole life. He can vouch for it. He'll let you know. It was just ridiculous.
yeah,
Me and him would fall out. Well, we'd have so many talks about this stuff. It
yeah.
was just ridiculous. What you're saying is 100% true.
Yeah,
100%.
and that's what happens. That's what happens a lot of times. People just wait, 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 wait. It's like this, and I get in arguments with people all the time about this shit. Why does it have to be all or nothing? Just because you don't get everything you want, try to get as much as you want that you can. Don't just shoot for the moon the whole fucking time. Because
Right.
I talk to people about this all the time. People are so stubborn. No, I want it 100% this way, and I'm not going to compromise one bit.
And
And and
let
that
me tell you
and
something.
that's how you lose out.
That O don't mean fucking nothing.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean nothing. Look,
sure,
I mean, look how it is when you're when it, now take it. Make no mistake about this. When you're in a war like the way Meldrick Taylor and Chavez was in that war,
sure.
now you have to understand what's going on here.
Got to rebuild a little bit. Yeah,
Right, exactly. You got to go back to the drawing board, but the sparring got to be slowed down. I mean, when you're taking a beating like that, you know what I'm saying? You can't go right back to Philadelphia and spar
no.
these guys.
Well,
Them guys,
That was Mickey Ward's greatest regret. I asked him. I said, you know what he said? He goes, I would have back to back to back to back to back wars and tough fights, and I shouldn't have done that because my body
unbelievable.
wasn't ready for it. It wasn't healed.
Yeah, great fighter too.
Yeah,
Unbelievable guy.
love him. Love
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
beast.
yeah,
That hook to the body was serious.
absolutely. So, Paul, I give you a lot of credit because even though you had, some complaints with your career, you didn't badmouth anybody today. You gave everyone their credit, and it
Yeah,
doesn't seem like you harbor any ill will or bitterness. And that's the best thing you could do when you move forward, and you don't hold on to that stuff because even though you were giving some criticism to people, you didn't trash anybody. You still gave them their respect, and that's a good thing. So it seems to me at least that you're at peace with everything, and that's a good thing. You
yeah.
know.
You have to realize as a fighter, a lot of fighters. I'm not saying no names, but a lot of fighters they live a delusional life. I'm not a
Sure.
delusional person. You can't talk to me and compare me to Floyd Mayweather. If you do, you need help. You might need
Yeah.
302 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honest to God, like you don't do nothing like that. You don't say, listen, I'm not going to say at 135 at that particular moment when I was doing the right thing, living the right way. Could I put a good fight up? I don't. Why would I not be lying and say that I believe in myself? I'm allowed to believe in myself. I'm a boxer. That's what
You
you're
have
supposed to
to.
believe. You
You
have to
have to.
believe you could win. You know what I'm saying? But you
Sure.
don't start talking about. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say some bullshit and say, "Oh, this and that." No, you can't call yourself that. You can't. No, you can't. If you wasn't in the ring fighting these guys, you can't call yourself that. It is what it is. But look, boxing changed my life. Thank God I have boxing. I'm probably doing. If I didn't have fighting in my life, I just missed a life bid. I like literally, I almost had a life bid, a lifer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So boxing saved my life. Boxing didn't do nothing for me that was negative. Nothing at all. It saved the person who I am. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
where I would come from and how I got out of that, you know what I mean? I come from a dark place. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it literally saved my life. It taught me discipline. It taught me how to do the right thing. It taught me a lot of things that, like in life. It's just it was just a blessing in my life that I had boxing and
Gotcha.
whatever. Yeah,
All right. Well, Paul, it was a pleasure having this conversation with you. It was a really, really interesting conversation.
you as
And
well, bro.
no,
Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot too.
oh, no problem. You know, and my friend Jesse Reekin, he called me. He's like, yeah, why don't we get Paul? Why don't you interview Paul Spadafora? He's been wanting me to interview you for a long time, and
Cool.
he's one. I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit. He's one of those guys that's like all hyped up. Oh, he beat up Mayweather at sparring. That was the focal point why he wanted me to interview you, and I was like, okay, I love Jesse. I love this dude, man. He's like my PR guy, but he just wanted like he was so hyped up about like what you did to Floyd Mayweather, and like that meant so much in his mind. So that's why I find it funny. But I finally got a chance to have a conversation with you, and I appreciate it, and I'm happy that I did.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me, bro.
No
Take
problem,
care of
man.
yourself, man. Have a good day
All
too.
right, take care, man, and have
Amen.
a great one. Be good.
Yep.